I'm already blinded by the light, yeah, but I can see you. Thank you very much for joining us tonight here in this beautiful silo, which I was told, right? And actually our offices are just across the street, so I think it's the perfect location. Thank you, and I hope we will entertain you and maybe educate tonight a bit. My name is Philipp. I'm a CEO of 1KOMMA5 and one of the founders. We are many people coming together behind 1KOMMA5. 1KOMMA5 is a strange animal. It's not a typical company to describe, you'll see that. And one of the main issues or main principles and philosophies is that we believe we can bring change only if we bring the best people together. So I'm very happy also to be here with the Dutch team today. So let's maybe look into what 1KOMMA5 is doing and what's driving us. We founded the company as a group of people 3 years ago, so quite recently, but all of us came already from clean technology. So I've been working for Tesla, I've been working for Sonnen, that's a battery company from Germany that was pioneering battery storage. So other people in the team are bringing other experiences, and we all have one shared idea. We believe it is possible to live on wind and sun forever for free. And why do we think that? Because if you think about wind and sun, they are in their core the only free energy source we have. So if you think about energy, we have primary energy. That's what you use to actually make electricity, make mobility, make heat. And primary energy, there's only one source that's for free, that's wind and sun. And you know what? The entire ecosystem is using them. So if you look at flowers, if you look at seasons, if you look at Mother Nature, they all use the same kind of energy. The only ones who have been decoupling themselves from Mother Nature is us. Yeah? And the good thing is, if you look at fossils now, and if you want to beat them, it's not too hard to beat fossils. That's not the core problem. We'll come to the core problem. But it's not too hard to beat them. Why? Because primary fossil energy has to be mined, drilled, then it has to be transported, then it has to be refined. That costs a lot of money. We all remember the pipeline crisis. We all remember, not all of us, but some, the oil crisis. Yeah, so we all know we're dependent. It costs a lot of money. It's only about the primary energy that costs a lot of money. It's pollutive before we burn it, right? So some of makes no sense to go for this energy. And in order to connect everyone to sun and wind, also there we need to have grids and we need to transport electricity. But in order to connect wind and sun to your assets, we need to change the generators that are still running on fossils, right? So we need to get rid of the of the combustion engine car. We need to get rid of every oil and gas heating before we can connect to those sources of free primary energy. And that's the first thing, or this first step of what we're doing at 1KOMMA5. We are electrifying buildings, and that is super complex because all of those systems, they interact. If you have an EV and a heat pump, they don't know of each other, they probably are not connected, they are not intelligent, they have to be installed. So that's the first big thing. We need to electrify everything and everyone, every asset, not every person, in order to connect to sun and wind. Pretty simple. That's what we do. And the second thing is the bigger problem, the real problem behind renewables. Because if you are a critic of renewables, you'll come to the conclusion, and even a lover would come to the conclusion, that sun is only around 2,000 hours a year. So you could rightfully say, it's nice that we have a free primary energy source. We still have to buy the generator, the solar system, but it's only available 2,000 hours, and the year has over 8,700 hours a year. And even if you put wind, and the Netherlands are very close to the Northern Sea, so there's lots of wind available, even if you put wind on top of that and assume they don't overlap, which they do, you're hardly covering half of all hours in the year. Now, this is where some people would say, it's a hoax. We don't need renewables. And we say, it's still true that the primary energy is free. And now what we need to do is we need to steer all electric devices in a way that the car charges when the sun is shining. Why? Because the price is low and the energy is very, very clean. And we need to have a heat pump rolling when the wind is blowing and not when it's not blowing. And you know this from the grids here in Holland. If you don't do that, if they don't correlate, the system gets broken at some point. So this is the much larger problem to solve. And we would not show up without a solution today. And before that, I run you through a couple of numbers. Yeah, we are already 75 locations in Europe. We have 2,200 people who are behind this mission. We have 100,000 customers. I just learned that there is one person in here who also has 100,000 customers in solar. We still need to, deepen the discussion. Yeah, but this is a lot. Yeah, we have been declared European market leader by a study. But okay, who believes in studies? Huh? I just learned that. We have saved, and that's really important. The main idea is to reduce CO2. We believe if we reduce CO2, our company will thrive. We have reduced 14 million tons of CO2. That's the joint impact of our customers. Just an equivalent of the consumption of Munich. So that is already, it's not too much, but it's also not nothing. Thank you. We also believe we need to be financially and economically successful because we have to beat big oil and the large utilities in their game. And their game is to be economically a success. So this is also important that already last year we did 500 million in revenue and we have been profitable. So it's really important to bring it all together, to build a system that works, but do this profitable and have something that's sustainable for our customers. That's not too easy to do, but we're on it. We have 25,000 customers connected to our energy AI. We have very complex systems that you will get presented here for the Netherlands today. That's also mind-blowing and also really, really proud. We have been growing with 3,300% in revenue. And we are a hardware business, right? So we are not just deploying a software, we are deploying real hardware assets. So that's really good. And Heartbeat, that's going to be the core of the presentation later, and the announcement of tonight, is basically the dream of many people, I said that before, coming together. Here you see a picture of our CTO, Barbara. This one actually. She used to be head of virtual power plants at E.ON at a very young age. Then she went to Oracle and Google, and now she's with us. So she probably is one of the most knowledgeable women in climate tech in Europe. She had this vision that I presented even before I had it. We just met, which is great. And also, I spoke about this before. We have a very strong team. We have Julian here today. Julian, could you raise your arm over there? Julian is not on this picture, but he should be because he's one of the people who's joining us from Sonnen. And Sonnen built the first virtual power plant in Europe. So basically the first people who actually physically did what we are also doing today. And then, of course, at some point we started this company. I told you about this before. And also really important is we have a strong DNA within craftsmanship. We have about 40 companies in 7 countries who are craftsman companies. So roofers, electricians, and heaters, because we are building also that one-stop shop for our customers. So we're bringing together tech and craftsmanship, which is unique, very difficult, but also unique and rewarding. And they are part of this mission as well. All right, let's see. I think we are already there. Yes, and this is how Heartbeat started. And there you see Julian, doing what he can do best, kissing. Yeah. So that was the first prototype of the system. This is just the box that is actually giving the signal of Heartbeat AI to a system. So the box itself is not the clue. The clue is actually the AI up in the cloud. This is actually Barbara. Yeah, she is posing in front of Porsche. Porsche is one of the automotive partners we have, and also an investor with 1KOMMA5, showing that we are already also integrating vehicle data into Heartbeat. And then also we have been starting to become a utility. So actually we are delivering the electricity contract to our customers in Germany and Sweden directly.